Welcome to the Stock Alternatives Podcast, hosted by Jeff Stock, actuary, investor, and strategic financial advisor. This podcast is dedicated to helping listeners reduce tax exposure, improve portfolio performance, and build more efficient wealth through alternative investments and structured financial strategies.
Welcome to the Stock Alternatives Podcast. Today's guests, we have Lori and Heather, and they are a startup company doing Sinkside Billiard. I knew I was going to say that. Not billiards, but billboards. We have a little joke about that because my body just wants to say billiards, but billboards. Why don't we ask you to tell us a little bit about the product that you're launching and where you are today?
Yeah, so Heather and I were co-founders, and so either one of us could say whatever I'm getting ready to say. We try not to talk over each other, so every now and then I'm like, hey, Heather, what do you think? So it's like we could win the potato sack race for sure. She and I could do that for very well. So I appreciate it. And she knows I like doing podcasts. I'm real chatty and she lets me do it. So I appreciate her for that. She knows I have fun doing this stuff, exchange of energy and all that. But what we're excited mostly about is we have this opportunity that came. My background is in advertising and media and marketing, and Heather's background is in marketing and software development. And so it's this perfect. We've known each other for 18 years, Heather? Are we up to 20? I don't know. We met in kindergarten, something like that. We wish, but we're both twin moms, so that's cool. And that's what we have in common. That's something we have in common. And we have a lot of things in common. But the thing that we have, number one thing that we want to do in the world is make a positive impact. And we only want to work on things that do make a positive impact in this world. And I'm all about what everyone's calling the great wealth transfer, which is, money going to good projects, going to good people. Like, I don't know, a lot of people don't know this, but Heather and I found this out in our journey in Dubai from someone that VC companies only give 1.6%. Wasn't something crazy like that, Heather? That 1.6 of female founders actually get funded, and it's that was kind of a depressing number for us to hear other than the fact that we were like, well, we weren't trying to make a bunch of VC rich anyway. What we loved about our model is everybody wins. And so what got me excited about this is one of my friends came to me and he said, I have a question that I don't even think you can answer. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm ready. And he says, where can you show, because he knows I was big online. I built my dog food company to be the 39th fastest growing company in America, all e-com, all online, right? That's what we did. So it says, where could you have shown a True Dog ad to one of your customers and been a video ad and been guaranteed that they didn't have their phone in their hand for 15 to 30 seconds. And I thought about it. I was like, I know all the places you shouldn't have your phone in your hand, like your car, and things like that. But I was like, and I thought about it, pretty much the best thing I could come up with was maybe the TSA, when you have your phone, but then where are you going to see the 15-second video ad? So I was like, okay, I give in. What is it? And he said the sink. And I said, wow, you're right. I could not refute that. I've never seen a single person wash their hands in a public restroom and have their phone in their hand. They don't even set it on the counter, right? Because they'll get wet. So they always have it tucked away and they're very focused. And then he also pointed out to me something which was super cool, was how close your face is to these screens that are on these faucets, right? You have these screens on these faucets. And they're about 18 inches away from your face. So they're taking up about 70% of your vision versus out of home advertising, which is the space that we're playing in, the big billboards. Now, I'm not telling you big billboards don't work because it wouldn't be a $40 billion industry in the US alone if they didn't work. They absolutely work. It's just, it takes a lot of, it takes a lot of money to get it done and it takes a lot of awareness. And if you could think about it for anyone listening right now, kind of think of that as top of funnel, right? You need to be out there. You need people to know your name, to be aware of you. But we were like, well, how could we take that message, that glance that you're getting at 60 miles an hour, maybe, most likely you're sitting in traffic if you see a billboard, honestly. And then how could I bring that closer to the consumer, right? And make it meaningful. And we started researching the market. We saw that we felt like our biggest competitor at that time were the gas station people. If you drive a car and go to a gas station, right, see those ads running, and all my friends are like, I never listened to those, but they have a 82% recall rate. Why? because people don't understand how your brain actually works. And just because you're consciously, focused on one thing doesn't mean you're not hearing all the other things and it's going into your brain. So then the next time you see that particular product, you don't know why you recognize it, but it's because your brain heard it over here on the, in some other capacity. So what I loved about this versus that, number one, most of those places are sold out. So in the good locations with a lot of traffic, the premium locations, people were smart and they jumped right on that, right? Tons of traffic, all that. But what I was excited about was the restroom, because the restroom, I call it the R room. It's the right room, right? Because you go in there, picture being in a big mall, all kinds of things. There's shopping, there's people, the phone, there's ads, there's billboards, everything's happening. And it's like a circus in there. When you go in the bathroom, there's a reason why they call it the restroom, right? Just for a minute, stand in line, wait your turn, go to the bathroom, wash your hands, leave. And it's a very repeatable pattern. So I was like, called up Heather. I said, I think I got something. I think I got something that not only we could generate income with, we could actually help our friends, our family, and small businesses. Because at this time, she and I were really focused on small businesses because we were very disgusted with what happened during COVID. I mean, that was just destroyed small businesses everywhere. It really did. And it's sad. It almost just took the restaurant business out. It took restaurant owners out. And I was like, so what could we do to help small businesses?
Well, one thing
go
that
ahead.
it did though is it did get people to wash their hands more.
Exactly. So why now, right? Someone could ask me why now. Well, I'll tell you right now, because people care a lot more about hygiene than they did before, and we found a way to gamify it, right? So I'm thinking to myself, okay, how do I really make this work? Number one, I got to have the venues have to want it, right? Because I don't know the venues. So they have to want it. So there's got to be something in it for them. So we said, perfect. Costs them nothing. We will not charge them a penny. We will put the faucets in and they'll get revenue share. So I solved that problem. Our close rate on venues are 100% practically, because people like free things and they like passive income, and it kind of upgrades the bathroom. It looks really cool. And so they like that.
Can you describe what one of these devices looks like? I know you said it's like a little screen with like the actual water coming out of the screen.
Yes, thank you so much. The best way I could describe it is it is an automatic sensor. So for people who don't already have automated faucets, which a lot of places do, but if they don't, it saves them up to 70% in water savings. So Heather loved that for sure, because you're very much into, definitely, we're very much into protecting the planet and those types of things. So that caught our eye. But what's cool is if you could just picture an iPad. I mean, that's really what you could do. You could use a Samsung. I mean, we have screens, but you could use a Samsung screen, and then it's integrated with the faucet. So all you see is the screen. If you walk up to it and you put your hands in water, it's almost like water's coming out of an iPad screen. And it has a normal faucet base, if that makes sense. And it's kind of a matte black. So they look very cool. In fact, we had one installation specifically at a stadium, and the general manager, he wasn't so sure. It just sounded, general managers are like, oh my God, don't add another potential problem to my life. And so he was kind of reluctant, but upper management said, let's do it. He loves them because they look cool. Like you're in the bathroom, ads are running.
It's a fun talking point for people.
It is. It's a fun talking point for people.
I saw an ad in that bathroom. Like bathrooms are, like I once saw, on the Andy Gump, the porta potty Johns, it said, for a memorable time, use Andy Gump. I'm like, do I really want a memorable time with, the toilet?
That's funny.
A memorable time for, washing your hands. I think it's perfect.
Well, and that's the other thing is that people really do like restroom advertising. It's about $4 billion of their whole category. And the reason it's smaller is because it's been limited in technology and what it can do, right? It's been like the screens on the urinal. Like now you will see some digital screens on the urinals, but like not like for a brand, they don't, just because there's traffic, they might not want to be a part of every moment, right? But at the sink, think about it. They're washing their hands, right? Now who cares? Ooh, Dove, any product from Procter and Gamble, Walmart, Crest, anything you do in the bathroom. Like, where else would you want to show a soap ad if it's not at the sink? Like, I don't know what would be better than the sink, right? So point of use. So we talk a lot about point of use. So I love that piece of it. And then the other thing is that that Heather and I were really pushing was some of our bigger sponsors as one of the reasons we want to lay down our network bigger. And that's what this is about. This is an infrastructure. We want to put down the infrastructure so we can spread these messages, because what we have found is some of the brands are very interested in our concept of, we call it positive brand messaging. And so for an example, at Planet Fitness, instead of just running like a Red Bull ad that they could run anywhere, right? I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Like, think about what people are sharing online. Like, what do people look at? They love looking at memes, positive things. So we have like a guy lifting a tire with a motivational, thing. So you go to the bathroom, right? You're like, oh, I'm tired. It's 5 a.m. I got to get my groove on and wash my hands. And you see this message like, you go, King, you got this. You're in charge. Sponsored by Red Bull. And so now all of a sudden we're giving Red Bull a place to participate that supports their ads on TV, supports their ads on billboards, because we're not trying to compete with some of those other avenues. I'm not telling you that my sink billboards are better than running an ad on Google. That's not what I'm saying. But brands like Red Bull, they don't sell product like that. They don't sell them one at a time, right? They're selling awareness and driving you to places that sell their product. So in this case, it's like, how can you connect emotionally with your consumer in a positive manner, so that when they go in, they don't even know why they feel good about you. They actually don't even, the neuroscience of advertising has always fascinated me. I've been a big direct response person, but for the faucets themselves, we've been very successful for 3 reasons. 1, we offer the venues for free and there's something in it for them. And we also give them a free ad to promote their business. Why? I launched a Kroger loyalty program back in 99. And what I know is this: even me sharing 10% of the revenue with a restaurant is good money. It adds up. Trust me, especially if it's a chain. It really adds up. I know you've looked at the math, Jeff, so you understand that.
Yep.
Let me tell you what people aren't thinking about, which is what I think about. If you're a restaurant, and I specifically think of my son, they play soccer and football up at the school, and during that seasonality, I will go to this one Mexican restaurant that I would never go to on my own because I have 50 by my house, right? But because I'm out there, I'll go there. But if they could find a way to communicate with me and remind me about them, I'm like, gosh, I really do love Casadores. They have those great, black mint margaritas or whatever. They have this special, little specialty drink that they have that we all like. So the real goal for a smaller business or for a restaurant is, what if we did on your ad that we give them, right? And this is what we're talking to the venues about. What if we were able to drive 10% more in your sales? What if we were able to get 10 or 15% of your customers to come back one more time? That is worth so much more than the passive income I'm even promising.
And you could put something in there like, hey, you like this ad? Mention it and you get 5% off your next order next time you come to the restaurant or something.
Exactly. And think about this. You've got, and Jeff, how it is right now. It's like hard to find really great people that are real people. Also, it's hard to find people anymore because we're gotten so used to our gadgets, and COVID just, I don't know, froze our brains against socialization or something. And we really want to get people out again. So I thought to myself, okay, get people out, get people engaging. Like, let's leave the house. Don't just online shop. Go out with a girlfriend. Go shoe shopping. Have a cocktail. Drink. Have a dinner. Have an app. Like, get people out communicating and getting into community again, right? So I thought about, me and Heather were talking. So we covered the venues, right? But I need the consumers to like the faucets, right? I mean, I need them to want to engage with them. So what's important to people in a restroom? Hygiene. I don't like to see I don't like watching someone walk out of the bathroom and not wash their hands. I think that's absolutely disgusting. I don't like that.
Does it happen in the women's restroom too?
Yeah, 25% of women are the statistics don't wash their hands, which is wild to me. It's wild. And they're coming out with a lot of studies, and no one please quote these for me. We do have them quotable with sources, but we were talking about 30 to 40% of many diseases such as like pneumonia, flu, other things that are low key but can like my 86-year-old mother-in-law just passed away from pneumonia. She didn't have any other condition, but she just got pneumonia, and she was 86, and her body just wasn't strong enough. But did she have to get pneumonia? I don't know, but the thing is, with soap and water, they've shown that people got really into antibacterial, and I'm not knocking that product. It's always good to be, but also during COVID, right? They were doing the squirt on the gel and everything.
Yep.
But the most powerful thing you can do is wash your hands with soap and water to prevent the spread of disease. So what we want to do is we're gamifying hygiene. So in our roadmap, as this goes along, we're going to be we're going to be able to, as we update our firmware on the faucets and our software that drives them, we want to be able to reward people for washing their hands. So all they have to do is scan a QR code and they get points. And as they get points and the points accumulate, like in the case of a Planet Fitness, they're real focused on they have their own cards. So they love the idea of people washing their hands. Why? Because they're a gym and people care about clean gyms. Like that's an important selling point for a gym like Planet Fitness. So if
Yep.
they can show that high number of people washing their hands and then they're redeeming rewards, and then those reward points, we turn them into dollars and put them on their card, they can then use their card. They could buy, I mean, it could pay for their membership. I mean, they could pay for 1 month's of membership, like with $20. So we really are focusing on rewarding the end user for interacting with the faucets. Why? Because advertisers then really like advertising on our faucets because they know you're being quote unquote trained to scan the QR code. You're being trained to do it because it's benefiting you. You're washing your hands and you're letting people know you're washing your hands, and it's giving Planet Fitness an idea. And I use them as an example. It could be CMX, it could be Benihana, whoever, of the level of cleanliness that's taking place in the restroom, right? But mostly I want to do it is because in the advertisers, like Red Bull puts up its positive message, which is what I really want. They're going to do what they're going to do, but we do have some really cool brands we're talking to about this positive hope message that we want to spread across the world through 5 countries. And think about like a love train, a hope train, right? Only it sinks, and they're
Well,
linked together worldwide.
I have a question. So when did this idea start? And then what keeps other like competition from doing the same thing if it's profitable?
That's a great question. So number one, we do have a patent on the faucets, and we are going to apply for a utility patent on the faucets. But we do have a design patent. It's really speed to market because with any patent, I think we all know that you're as good as defending it. And what people can do is they can copy you, and then let's work it out in court. Heather and I we have a small Game of Thrones strategy where, if it were to happen, we would send a notice to the venue and let them know that they are infringing on our patent. And knowing our customers the way we do, they would freak out if someone sent them a letter. So we don't really have to get in a fight with the other company. And the other thing I'll tell you is there's a reason why they call it hardware, because it's hard. I mean, it's not easy.
Yep.
So it's not easy to figure it out. It's not impossible. Like, anybody with enough money, right? The question becomes is, how bad does someone want that? Or would they just rather watch us build it and
Yeah.
then buy it from us? Like, why would someone want to do it from scratch if they didn't have to? So the only person that could really beat me right now would be someone with a lot more money than I have. But then you have to ask yourself, like, look at Instagram, look at Facebook, look at Manus. Facebook can build Manus. Why would they? They're just going to buy Manus. They've got users, they've got the thing. So that was our goal. Get the venues, get the contracts, get the advertisers, and then we'll be in a very good position to sell our company to someone who is much bigger than we are and has billions and billions of dollars.
That seems like a great plan. So you have an exit plan for this. So how long does it take to build out and have all the relationships with all the different venues, and like what's your timeline and trajectory for this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our first year that we were working on it was primarily raising money from friends and family, putting our own money in, working through getting the faucets made, getting them here, getting them QA'd. So, that took about 6 months to get all that done. And they got here. There were a couple issues with them that we didn't like, because the biggest challenge, and I always like to be honest with people. Like, I think anyone that tries to tell you, oh, my company's perfect, there's no challenges, that means I don't know my business. I mean, that's what that would mean. So the challenge in our business is really more the Wi-Fi that we work with at the locations. So we're very, very sophisticated on how we test the Wi-Fi, the speeds, being on their private Wi-Fi. We actually rebuilt our own system to drive the faucets, where we're not even using what the manufacturer did. We redid our own using routers with SIM cards that you can put in there as a backup plan. So that way, if the wireless, for some reason, you know how wireless is, like, we all deal with it, right? But now we have AT&T and T-Mobile, and depending on the area, we have all the carriers. We will just put the 2 strongest carriers in there to support the faucet. And it is important to note that we do not stream. So they just have to be downloaded in the evening and in the morning. So, so we don't rely on, so once the ads are on the faucet, like it's not terrible if the Wi-Fi goes down. It's not the end of the world, but it does make it more difficult for us to count the impressions and satisfy the advertisers. You know what I mean? So we really focus on that. So that's our biggest challenge is Wi-Fi. And we worked that out with our first installation, which took place in September. We had 18 faucets that we put in there. Worked through a lot of challenges with that restrooms having thick cement walls and how we would do that. Did a great way, figured out how to install them so they look really nice because not everyone has like a cabinet, sometimes they're open underneath the sinks.
Yep.
So we did that. And then we landed, and that installation from time of yes to them being installed was not even 6 weeks.
September 2025.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
that was in September of 2025, correct. And we put 18 in. It was in 1 day install. It was like there's about 30 minutes of faucet, short of there, being a problem, which so far there hasn't. We also do really, really intricate site surveys. So we will say, like, we were working with a big gym franchise, and they had 85 locations, and we were starting with 20, and we were really picky about the 20. Like we don't need to do every one of them. Like I don't need, and Heather would be the first one to back this up. It's like if you have 20 locations and 2 of them have terrible Wi-Fi, then you only have 18 locations as far as I'm concerned. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not going to work, and we only want a win-win. So, and that's how we've done that. So we've gotten through the QA process, and then we installed into 5 locations in the Miami, Brickell, Doral area, and Florida, because we're kind of targeting areas. And then we installed 122 in Boston with Planet Fitness. So we've gotten the installs down pretty well. We have a large company that we partner with as 150,000 people across the country. So they help us maintain them. We can handle about 90% of any customer service issues through remotely because of our routers and the way we have them set up in the restrooms. So that part's been relatively easy once we got the system rebuilt. So I would say it took us about 60 days from that first install to have something set up that we could install into CMX. And then we made some more improvements on top of that because we did have some Wi-Fi issues. So we worked on extenders and things like that. So, and then right now our whole go-to-market strategy is very simple. If you think about with what we have now, we have a nice business right now that we could just focus on it. Heather and I would be fine, but we're like, why would we? Like if we could get people excited, and we did. So we went out to our friends, our referral partners, and people are on fire. And like we pay really great to our referral partners. We're very generous. I'd rather pay my friends to win than pay strangers, right? So I've got, and that's why we've been successful, because we definitely we have a nice network because we've been around for a couple of decades, and we have good reputations, and we've been leaning on our network to get us to the, we don't deal with the bottom up to get a deal done. We do top down. I mean, that's just what we do. And that's been working for us. Our sales cycle is pretty quick. I would say the longest thing is typically when you get with a bigger company, like we're working with a gym in Mexico, Sports World. And when you're dealing with a company like that, they just corporate, and it's language barriers, and you're working through legal documents. So I would say the longest thing takes is just working out the legal part of it. Getting the yes is pretty quick. It's just working out the legalities if you're in another country. And in the United States, it's actually very quick. I mean, it's very quick. They say yes. We make the boxes. We ship the faucets. It's 30 days from a yes to an install for the most part. Part of that's because we have to go into the restrooms and we measure everything so that the cords and stuff that run and how many faucets and get connected to the CPU and things like that. And we got really, really lucky in our partnership with Broadsign. That's our CMS system. They're the largest programmatic network in the world, and they are worldwide, and they've been a great partner. And they're so excited about our product. They're actually creating a restroom category, which in programmatic advertising, even though there is a restroom category, it doesn't work through the exchange that way. Meaning, if you went through think about buying Google ads or whatever, and you went in to order them and you saw you saw my Planet Fitness locations, you could think you were on big screens because there's no way for me to tell you you're in the restroom. It's a system problem. Now, if I'm selling direct, which we do, as 70% of our sales are direct. If we do direct, it's super easy because we're telling them, right? But through a system, and Broadsign's actually adding a restroom category, and they fully expect us to lead the category because we're on the clean side of the restroom. We have 15-second ads. We have QR codes. We have a way for them to engage. That they scan the QR code, it can drop a card right into their wallet. We can then communicate with them with notifications. I mean, it's a really slick system for venues, for very low friction for them. Very low friction for them, for sure.
That's awesome. I have a question for Heather since she hasn't been asked any yet. So I saw on your website that Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank had some things to say about Sinkside Billboards.
Woohoo! You got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he say, and how did you end up landing him to talk about it? He's the first shark from Shark Tank.
Yeah, he was
You
one of
should
the
have fielded that one to me.
Yeah, so Lori and I both know Kevin, but Kevin has a much better relationship, longer relationship with Lori. I've known Kevin probably for like 8 years, but Lori's known him a long time and has done business with him in the past. And so when we were looking for people to sit on our board, he was just the perfect person. You know, he was the infomercial guy, right? He was a shark. He's seen all these deals and he was like, oh, yeah, this is special. There's no place else. Like nobody washes their hands, you know, nobody has their phone in their hand when they wash their hands, right? And I mean, there's just so many things. He was like, yeah, the billboard takes 18 months and like permitting and all this stuff to get approved, right? And they work, but it's like this big in your peripheral, right? Like you bring it here, like Lori was saying, with no distractions. Nobody washes their hands like this. And so he was like, absolutely, I want to advise you. And he's made some great introductions and had some great ideas. So we're very, very grateful for him and fortunate to have him on our board.
He'll always, I mean, Kevin and I've been friends a long time, and he'll, always advise me on my companies mostly, but he's active in this company. There's a difference with a Kevin. So
Yeah.
Kevin, people might think, oh, no, he's active and he's a very protective of his time. So with my dog food company, he was active, and with this company, he's very active. He's very actively working with us on big deals. And he has a lot of skin in the game. He wants us to work. So I think he's a big endorsement for us because like I told Heather, I've known him a long time, and I never ask him hardly to do anything because for the most part, I try to not ask my friends things they can't say yes to, but I do say yes to this. And then when he saw it, he was like, this is crazy. And he couldn't believe, you know what everyone says? They can't believe no one's ever done it before. And you know the second thing everyone always says? I'm telling you, every single time. You'll always have that one guy in the group that you're talking to, and he'll go, you know, there's that guy, John. What, he in the billboard business? And someone will go, yeah. It's like, man, I go, did he make, and I go, how did it work out for him? He goes, he made a lot of money. Like, I've never heard anyone be like, run screaming. Where the dog food business, everyone's like, run screaming. Because it's a very, very intensive, very competitive space. So, but yeah, so that's been really good.
So I wanted to also take the time, just a minute, to introduce that I'm an investor in your company as well. I think it's great, and I believe in it, and I'm, part of Stock Alternatives. We raise money for conscious businesses, and I'm going to put it out there to try to get some more funding for you guys, so you can put more devices in more locations and help more people.
I mean, we really appreciate that because, like, the one thing about this is we call it a flywheel, right? It's like a flywheel, like, because it gets people's attention, and especially if they're in a mall, and now you can direct them to your store, or you're in the airport, you can direct them to your location or things like that. But we also call it a flywheel because every faucet just makes a network stronger. Every faucet just makes it stronger. It's just more impressions, right? So the more faucets we have, the more money you get. And I was telling Heather, I was like, if we were like at unlimited amounts of money, which, most people don't. But if we did, if it was like, if I was Elon Musk right now, I'm telling you what he would do right now. He wouldn't even be trying to sell any advertising. He would just be laying these down everywhere. He would just lay down his network, and then advertising comes because the advertising, I laugh about people sometimes like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be in the advertising business. I'm like, if advertising goes away, everything goes away. How will Facebook work? How will Instagram work? How will TikTok work? Like everything you have in your life is supported by advertising, TV shows. I mean, think about it. So it's one of those things is like, it's not about, are you investing in an advertising agency? No, 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 no. There's a platform. This is infrastructure. This lives forever. This is worldwide. So, and it's constantly evolving. And it's something that, like I said, in a perfect world, I'd get 4 to 5 sponsors just to sponsor certain ad slots. And no matter what happened on the other 4 or 5 ad slots, I'm talking positive messages, because the world needs more positive messages. The world needs hope right now. Everyone talks about love one another. It is hard to love when you don't have hope. It is really hard to love. When you got hopeless, leads to helpless, right? And helpless leads to like self-worth conversations and things like that. So like if we just lift up the world, you'd be surprised. I mean, have you ever been out and had someone just say something not kind to you? Like, oh, thank you so much. Or, oh, I really like your shoes. Or, oh my gosh, your kids are so cute. And it just for a minute, it's like a complete stranger was kind to me. And it used to not be a novelty. I'd like to make it something that's not a novelty anymore. I'd like it to be something that we start doing again, and we start remembering to lift each other up. Because like Heights High Ventures is like how there's named our company, our parent company, because all the, tidal wave lives off the boats. And that's what we're trying to do. And we are doing it. We just like to do it in a big way. And I love the fact that the investors we have been more people than institutions, although now we're starting to attract institutions. We are, because it's getting, it's a big deal, and that's fine. We'll take strategic big partners. We want them. Of course we do. But I just like the idea of a lot of people coming together. And if I was a different person, I would have MLM'd this for real, but I'm just not that person. I don't know how to do that, but it'd just be so cool to have everyone have a little piece of it, and just everyone winning. And I love that. So the closest we could come to that was paying people to wash their hands. That was the closest we could come. And I was like, you know what, Heather, if that's all we get by with is we get 10% more of the world to wash their hands and reward them for it, reduce sickness. I mean, we're into longevity. We're into living longer. I mean, that's a great business for us. That's what we want to do.
So you mentioned the positive messaging. So what does that mean? Like, what kind of positive messaging are coming from these billboards? And like, what's your kind of your quota around positive messages?
Well, right now what we do, like when we don't like have ads, like when we first go into a location, we always like to let the ads run for like a month, and we give them, what we do is we let maybe 3 weeks, but just to work out all the bugs. And then we also do it because we let the venue owner and, enjoy some free ads, and then they can test what works for them. And, we're pretty generous with that. Heather and I are very, we want to, we don't want to overpromise. We want to overdeliver. So we do that. And so what we did, like for CMX and for Planet Fitness, is we just put up messages. Like, just think of a meme that you would see on one of them is a girl sitting on a rock with a beautiful sunset, and it's like, love yourself, love your friends, love your neighbor, that type of stuff. Just motivational quotes that keep going. Tough, keep going. We had one thing that we had a Dove commercial where we had the soap, like she has her soap and she has her eyes closed, that said, "Look up, Queen. You're the real hero." That kind of stuff. Just fun. Like, you're in the bathroom, and who expects to see that? Like, you don't. That's something you see on your phone. That's something you scroll through. And that's something you share with your friends. So
for me, it'd be fun to come up with some of those advertisements that are positive messaging. So if you want more ideas for that, I'd love to talk to you about it.
Jeff, you just got hired.
I'll do that for
so send that to us. We'd love to do that. Yeah, we would love to do that. I would love to, because like, I don't know. It's just the way some of the things have been going in the world recently. I just think if you go into restrooms, no one's expecting that, right? They're expecting to be sold or whatever. And again, I'm not saying, everyone's got to understand that, of course there's advertising. No one's doing anything for free, but sponsored by Red Bull. And if you think about like a movie, I won't go long on this, but I do want to explain one more point for the person that's maybe trying to align with what I'm saying. So if you think about the movie business, they do product placement, right? So you're watching a movie. I remember Modern Family when they did the iPad. Remember, it was following them all around the iPad, and it was like blatant product placement. So for an example, we had the one guy at Planet Fitness, he's lifting this tire, right? He's like lifting this giant tire and it's got this like, yeah, I'm a real man message. But like that would be a great way for for a Mercedes dealership to put their name around that, right? So like it's a creative way to do product placement, but you're not talking about the Mercedes. You know what I mean? Because think about Nike. Nike never talks about their shoes. Ever. Just do it. What does that have to do with a tennis shoe? Nothing. It has nothing to do with a tennis shoe. So the brands that figured that out, Apple, think different. We did copy that, think different. Isn't that fun? But anyway, because I love that. But because we're doing something different at the sink, but think different. Like when you think about the people that really get marketing, they're not cats and obvious. They're not showing you how the watch works. They're reminding you that things are timeless. They're reminding you that everything gets better with time. That sells a watch, not details on how to sell a watch. That does not sell a watch. I mean, people have Rolexes and they have all these special kinds of Rolexes. And I know there's like, people are very focused and they know every detail of their little watch and how it works and all the things. The average person just got caught up in the feeling, the osmosis, what it feels like, how wearing a Rolex makes them feel. And that's what we want to do. We want to make people feel good. And at your venue, when they feel good and they come out of the bathroom feeling good, do you think they're going to say yes or no to that extra dessert? I mean, people say no to dessert a lot of times because they're tired and their dinner was boring and their company wasn't very good and they just want to go to bed. But you come out there kind of laughing at a fun message, you come in there, chance to sell a dessert, chance to sell an after dinner drink.
Makes sense. Yeah, for restaurants, I could see it helping sales and for sure helping people to return and come back. I absolutely love this idea. I mean, I love what you're doing. I think it's going to expand. I think someone's going to buy it eventually when you get larger for a large sum of money. And if you have a patent on it, if you fast forward like 20 years, I can imagine, a large portion of the restrooms having these sinks with advertisements in them. And then I think there's going to be people trying to look at what you're doing and look for other areas where to put these things as well. Maybe not into sinks.
I agree. I mean, I think then that's what Heather and I are talking about. What is so important. So when I have my dog food company, everyone always asks me one question, and it'd always be like, what is the one thing that you never saw, like that happened that you didn't have a contingency plan for? And for me, it was at that time, my dog died of cancer. I started a dog food company. I mean, really, that's the truth, because then I could give you a whole bunch of stats why, because kibble was killing our dogs. And that was super important to me. I was super passionate about it. But when, excuse me, I got something in my throat here. Sorry about that. Mind, take a drink. But when I did that with my dog food company, I was super, super passionate about it. And when I look at Sinkside Billboards, I think about things like, okay, where's that purpose and where's that passion? And it comes from the messaging, right? But here's the thing: when people ask me what was my biggest problem I had with True Dog, was I had a plan for everything. If this failed, if that failed, I mean, I had so many contingency plans. At one point, I was like, what was plan A, right? I didn't have a plan for growth. I didn't have a plan for everyone to go, oh my gosh, me too. I believe you. My dog died too. And I buy dog food like that too. I just go to the grocery store. I buy the most expensive dog food. I don't know what the ingredients are. I don't know how to read a dog food label. And this is back in 2015. They had no idea, right? And so my growth was outstripping my capital. It really was. I mean, that was a nightmare because of inventory, right? So in this case, if you told me, what is your dream? I mean, if this was called Dream Big Podcast with Jeff Locke, I would say,
close enough.
Everyone, yeah, close enough. We'll call it that. We'll call it that for today. But I would tell everyone, like I would say, think about what I'm saying. Thinking about being a part of this. If we could lay down like railroad tracks, the faucets everywhere, quickly as possible. That's who's going to buy us. You got Clear Channel. They know how to sell ads. You got Lamore Advertising. They know how to sell ads. You got Blue Line Media. They know how to sell ads. I'm friends with Jonathan Nelson at Omnicon. We're going to partner with all these people to sell ads with the national contracts. But at the end of the day, they make all the money if they own the network. I mean, T-Mobile, I think it was T-Mobile, one of the carriers just bought a big programmatic network. And they don't even own the screens or anything. They basically just bought like customers, if you think about it. And with us, it's like, I just think someone wants us to lay down the infrastructure, and all the great restaurants do all the legwork, get the contracts done, put some advertising on it, and sell the company. I don't think we're going to own this company very long.
Yeah.
I don't. And not
What-
because we don't want to, but because I think we're going to get an offer that we can't refuse.
One question that I ask when I look at different ventures like Sinkside Billboards is, what would Warren Buffett and what would Charlie Munger say about it? And I think they would be all over this. Like, they would just absolutely love this as an investment, because it doesn't require a lot of capital to put it in, and it
Yep.
generates a lot of capital going forward. I think in one of your like presentations, I saw that these like one restroom could generate similar income to like an apartment,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. If you look at for sure.
a tenth or the hundredth of the cost, it was way less. So
Well, yeah, if you think about it like a comparison, like if a cap X and we were factoring in overhead and everything else, and you're thinking about $2,000, $2,500 to put something in versus one of those big screens that Heather was referring to, which is exactly right, about taking 18 months, $300,000. So if you're an investor in that, you will make money on that investment. You will. But it's kind of like investing in a commercial real estate project. I mean, it's kind of, it's a longer time, but you will make money off of it. In this case, it takes us 30 minutes to install it. My CapEx is so low. I mean, the risk to the investor, the risk to us is so minimized that it makes it easy to scale it, right? It makes it easy to scale it because it's just $2,500 at a time. And it starts monetizing immediately when we start selling advertising. So really, if I had to pick, if I could do nothing else, I would just say, if people believe in what I'm saying, and then they believe in the billboard business, which, by the way, there's only 16,000, I think it might be higher now. I think they just came out with a new number, like 22,000 digital billboards in the entire country, to put it in perspective, on the sides of the roads. Not in bars, but I'm talking about on the sides of the roads. That's it. And we're talking about, we want to put 10,000 down. 10,000. We have 10,000 faucets laid down. We're done.
How quickly does a faucet pay for itself, like with the ads? So you put it in, and how long do you have to wait before your money's returned?
Well, we give it 30 days. I like to give it 30 days of not selling ads, personally. And then and during that time, what we will do is we will kind of be pre-selling the ads, if that makes sense, but we wouldn't put anyone on the faucet, right? So I like to wait till they're in, because things change. Like Planet Fence is a good example. They changed locations on us. So if I had sold a contract in advance and 6 of those locations mattered to that lawyer, and now I moved to 6 other locations, I have a problem, right? So it takes about 30 days for us to let it sit, make sure it's working, make sure the Wi-Fi is cooperating, all those things. Faucets are doing what they're supposed to. Plumber did his job. And during that time, we start selling the ads. And then about 60 days into it, the way we've ramped our performa is we do about 10% fill, and then 20% fill, and then 30% fill, all the way up to 70%. And when I say fill, for those people listening, think of apartment complex. Yeah. Like getting those in. So, it takes about, I thought 6 months to ramp up to start paying for itself. But then it just, and then we tie other things into it as well. Like, it's like we have local marketing packages and things like that we have a partner with that, pays us a referral fee that helps local businesses like med spas and stuff grow. And they're great for advertising on our faucets. So we have good local agency partners.
This is great. Well, we're almost out of time, but I wanted to thank both of you for joining today. I think I'm going to rename the podcast Dream Big Podcast. You're definitely an idea person. So I like that. Maybe Dream Big Stock Alternatives Podcast. I do want to keep my name of the company in there.
Dream different, right? Like, don't do what everyone else is doing. Dream big and different. Yeah. I love that, I mean, I love your name too, Jeff Stock. It's so great for what you're doing.
I love your name. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's so perfect. I was telling Heather I had a thumb surgery. And 2 things. There was a guy who's a lawyer. His name is Bill Winningham. What a great, I mean, right? Who doesn't want to hire Bill Winningham? But the best hand surgeon in Cincinnati, swear to God, I should get paid for this. His name is Dr. Slaughter.
Oh, no.
I'm like, what? Like, this cannot be your name. So I think that's just hilarious. I was like,
we have a Slaughter on our team as well.
Slaughter. Yeah. Is he your lead salesperson? Slaughter him.
She is our lead salesperson, believe it or not. So
I believe that. I believe that.
Rio Slaughter. So that's funny. And we're
Fantastic.
coming up on 4444 on the live feed. So I think I'm going to
Okay.
stop the podcast when we get to the 4444 because that is my angel number for good luck.
Me too. That's fine. We like 222, but 4444 used to be. It's not anymore, so don't get excited. But
We
when,
got-
back in the day, it was my password all the time.
All
It was
right,
always in my password. It was in it. Wasn't it? But it was always in there.
that's funny.
That's fair. That's right. I love those are my lucky numbers. And then I
I'm-
got to 222 because I keep seeing them.
I'm finding a lot of people who they see the numbers and they see it as a sign from the loved ones. So I hope that you see that.
I do. 13's mine. 13's mine. I've seen it.
13?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's a weird number, but it's like, yep, it's a really cool number for me. 13 is very meaningful.
I have just one quick story because I wanted to share it. So my dad, he passed in 2020, not from COVID, but he died on March. He died in March. His birthday was March 31st. And when I was on my phone on March 31st, I was trying to type the word better. I typed BE and it auto suggested Bert, which is my dad's name, just from the BE. I was like, what
Okay.
in the world? How does that even happen? So
I love that. I love that. My I lost a loved one on the 13th, and one of my sons was playing lacrosse, and they were playing in his honor actually, and they were all playing for who I lost. And my son Parker is really good at lacrosse, and we were already winning, and all my friends were there. Heather was there. All my friends were there, and he was running down the field, and he's a defender. So, but he got the ball. He just got the ball, and he can really run. And he was running down the field, like, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And we were so excited because he was going to score and honor, and he doesn't normally score because he's a defender, right? And he just did it. And I mean, I don't even know how. And he just slammed it. It was so far. Even I was like, oh, too far, so I can make it. And it goes in. And it was the 13th goal that he made. His oldest brother, Brooks, my oldest son, his number was 13 for baseball. And the loved one that we lost was on the 13th. And it was pretty soon. And so it was a really, like, for me, I'm like you. That doesn't make me sad. That makes me feel like, like someone trying to, I like it. I like God winks. That's me though. Yeah.
yeah, me too.
I love that you told me that. Thank you for telling me that story. I always look for signs from loved ones. My mom, everyone, is not here anymore. My horses, they're not very good at it though. The horses don't show me much.
We'll have to separately talk about like our different miracle stories because actually I recently am partnering with somebody who does the medium work on looking at investments as well. So and by the way, she loves Sinkside Billboards. So
Ask Heather. Her name's Olga, and I got introduced to her, just so everyone knows that we're not crazy. I got introduced to her by a billionaire who's like best friends with Tony Robbins. That's how I met him. And he's a commercial real estate guy, and no one would know him. So it's not Richard Branson. So no. It's a person people wouldn't know, and he uses her, and you know how he uses her? He uses his own discernment. And when he gets to that place where it's kind of like, here's the pros and here's the cons, and you're like, oh, he uses her. And then he's like, every time he's gone with what she said, he's gone the right way. But sometimes he has done his own thing and it's worked out still. And then sometimes it hasn't. And so my horse trainer, I'll leave you with this. I know it's silly, people, or you could edit this out, but
no,
my
it's
horse,
cool. I like this stuff.
my horse trainer, I do show jumping, and my horse trainer, he's superstitious because all horse people are, like, wear the same shoes, same socks. If you won the day before, you want to wear them the next day. I promise, we're crazy. But he's not going to maybe believe in what we're talking about until he would show me a horse, and all I would say, he would watch me text her, AJ, that's the horse's name, age, location, that's it. And she would come back. She doesn't know anything about horses. Oh, he's going to seem quiet, but he's got a little macho in there, and he doesn't. And she would tell us stuff about him, and David would be like this. Like, oh my gosh. So then I would lease the horse. I would lease the horse. Come wintertime, tried to kill everyone. He tried to buck everyone off. He completely was a macho man in the winter. Like, and I could tell you 3 more stories. So at this point now, David will come to me, and I'm not saying his last name for a reason. He'll come to me. He's like, all right, tell me what Olga says about this one. And so I was like, she's never been wrong about a horse. Not one time.
That's awesome.
And I have not listened to her 3 times on a horse because I kind of, they're horses and I just,
Yeah.
I just love them. Huge mistakes every time.
Yeah, we have a horse farm. I could show you in the back.
You what? How did you leave this part out, Heather? You have a horse farm.
I didn't know
So
we had a horse farm.
you can
What
see
is happening for me right now?
if you can see back there, but we have a horse and somebody climbing over the fence. Can you see?
Wait, lift your camera up a little
Donkey.
bit. Lift it up a little bit. Yeah,
Sorry.
here we go. I can see it now.
Donkey, and then there's a horse over here, and then we have some across the street.
I can
too.
probably find some horses from my view too.
Oh, yours are
Yeah.
wild horses. They're so cool. Are those? Do you have someone that rides in your family, Jeff?
Yeah, my stepdaughter Sarah plays polo for the Yukon polo team as a high schooler, and then she just got invited for next year. She's going to be part of the Yale polo team. So for high
You
school.
could have led with that, Jeff. I mean, I don't really care about the other
Alright,
stuff.
well,
You're
I
talking
did-
about horses.
You never know, like who's going to know who, right? So
I'm just teasing you.
maybe we'll
I've
be in the
never played
same-
polo, but I have a lot of friends that do because we show down in Wellington, and that's a big polo area. And I find it fascinating to watch people play polo. That is a very hard. That's impressive.
Yes. She's going really fast. Like I watch her, and
And then the hand-eye coordination with the ball and everything. I don't even know how she does. I don't even know how she does it. And I do show jumping. I mean, I'm top 10 in the country. I'm not bad. I'm
they
good.
do,
but
they do arena like for most of their things, but she also plays some of the outdoor where they're going super fast, and it looks very dangerous. But she's very good at it, and she hasn't fallen off the horse before, like a lot of the other people on the team. So
Knock on
Yes.
wood.
fingers crossed.
say-
You know,
Jeff Stock, you say from Future, and she always stays on. That never say what you just said. Then the thing I love about her, is she always stays on. Yeah, you gotta
always
deposit.
stays on.
She
Yeah,
always stays on. That's what I love about my daughter. She does a dangerous sport, but she always stays on.
exactly. Great. Well, it's been a pleasure to meet y'all, talk to you. I mean, we already met, but I think that people watching this are going to see the value in the concept, and hopefully they want to get behind the project and also get behind, the companies that are offering it. So
Well, another thing I didn't mention, but I should, and I know, again, if you need to edit it out, that's
Yeah.
great. But
we're good.
the other thing is like some of our investors have been some of our best partners too, because they invested in this. You do talk about strategic partners, but like there's a lot of people out there like my son's best friend's dad owns 55 Planet Fitnesses and a whole bunch of yogurt shops and things like that. So it's interesting because a lot of people will invest, but then they'll make an introduction to a place that 10 pizza places or bowling alleys, and or they have a connection to someone at MGM. I mean, you just never know. And it's like, wow, and they don't have to do anything. They just tee up the name. We do it. We're not asking them to work for them. Give us
Oh.
money and then start working for us. But
That's a good
good
question.
opportunity.
So if someone wants to contact, they can contact me at stockalternatives.com. But if somebody wants to research more about your company as well, or reach you, what would be the best way to go about doing that?
I'll let Heather answer that one.
Yeah, if you go to sinksidebillboards.com, you can check out our site. We have videos, we have pictures of the product and stuff, and then you can also see how to contact us.
Perfect.
And you can also, if you want to schedule a call with me, if you want to talk about this, you can go to sinksidebillboards.com/Heather, and that has my calendar, and I'd love to chat with anybody.
Great. Same offer goes if you want to talk about it with me, although I am not nearly as close to it as Heather and Lori. So
And again, I want to reiterate that Heather could have said everything I said except some of my personal stories. Well, she actually could have said those too because she knows them.
you are wonderful.
But
you guys
yeah,
are
we're just a good
amazing
team.
energy.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
and
we're a good yin and yang. But
yeah.
So anyway, either one of us can get on a call. So thanks, Heather. I know she'd already gotten to talk to you before, so she was hoping we got to know each other better too. So, but thanks for giving me more of the showtime. Heather didn't care about stuff like that at all, but I appreciate that. I needed it energizes me. So I'm an extrovert. So thanks, Heather. For always making me look like I'm the smart one. Heather's my operations queen, and company wouldn't run without her. So I make promises, she keeps them.
Awesome.
She tries. No, she keeps them.
Well, thank you, Jeff. We really appreciate it. We love having you as an investor, and we look forward to talking to some other people that come in and are interested in this, because we love good people. And like we said, our company is actually called High Tide Ventures, and all ships rise at high tide. And that's exactly what we want to create.
Exactly. And you are creating it. So
Exactly.
We are.
all right.
Awesome.
One faucet
All
at a
right.
time.
One sponsor at a time. Great.
Thanks,
Great
guys.
job.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the Stock Alternatives Podcast with Jeff Stock. At the end of the day, wealth is determined not only by how much you earn, but also by how much you keep through smart tax strategies. For business owners, retirees, and high-income professionals seeking greater returns, steady income, tax relief, purpose-driven investments, and portfolio diversification, visit stockalternatives.com to learn more or schedule a personal meeting with Jeff Stock.